Hello, I'm Dr. Whittlesticks. It's been a while. 50 of you now. 52, I think, at the time of recording this. I'll talk about that at the end, but as much as I am ecstatic, today we're going to be talking about Storm King's Thunder, a campaign that I have not played, but I have read, and so, because I have no experience playing it, I shall complain about it. Because Storm King's Thunder, possibly not the worst campaign, but is one of the most poorly formatted campaigns. We begin with Chapter 1, Nightstone. This is one chapter to bring you from level 1 to 5. It is rushed, it is boring, it is basically go kill some monsters, it shouldn't even have been included. Now Chapter 2 is a bit more interesting. The Rumbling. Now this chapter is about giants raiding a city. Sounds like a fun idea. But the book gives you no guidance. It gives you the location of the city, gives you places to explore, but then the raid happens, and it gives you a list of creatures, but it does not include what these creatures can do. For instance, in the town of Brinshander, it says 12 frost giants attack. Well, against level 5 players, even 2 frost giants will TPK them all but guaranteed. So what in the world are you supposed to do with 12? It doesn't tell you random encounters, like here's, roll decks to avoid rocks that rain down or jump out of the way of debris, or like gives you scenarios of how to save people. It just tells you there's 12 frost giants, they are laying siege to the town. You have to figure it all out from there. Next is Chapter 3. Chapter 3. This thing is so horrible. This thing includes almost 50 locations, maybe more, maybe less, I haven't counted, and gives you no guidance on how to run them. It might give you a paragraph, like it might give you 2 paragraphs about Waterdeep, and it's filled with suggested adventures, not actual adventures, suggested adventures, plot hooks. Does not write an adventure around those plot hooks, that's the DM's job. Or you can go off of how basic and boring it is. Like, there is just nothing. And then you have certain locations where they just don't give you anything. And then you have this entire map, and I get what they're going for. They're going for, look at this huge sandbox that your players can explore. The entirety of the Sword Coast. But the biggest thing wrong with that is you don't give us any information about the Sword Coast. In fact, for half of it, if it's like, do you want maps? Do you want more information? Go buy the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, which I shouldn't have to buy a whole other book to enjoy your book. Not to mention, the Sword Coast Adventuring Guide is boring and bad. Then we have Chapter 4. No complaints about Chapter 4. It's actually a pretty good chapter. Yeah, I got nothing. I like it. Chapter 5, 6, 7, 8... I want to say up to 9. They're all giant lairs. They're all interesting giant lairs. And they're all memorable encounters. You have the giant hill giant priestess who's trying to become as big as possible. You have the cloud giant countess and her cloud caster. The forge of the fire giants. This giant berg of the frost giants. All of these are amazing. I think that these are great. But my biggest problem is, first of all, your players might be level, I want to say, 9 or 10 at most at this point. I don't even think so. I think technically maybe 8 or 7. They are in no way fit to take on giants. Giants are high-level enemies. And while players who are smart can obviously take on a few giants, it becomes very difficult, especially because giant lair has many giants. They sound the alarm. It is very deadly. But that's not my problem. Players should be smart, okay? If the alarm is triggered, you don't go and fight the horde of creatures that are 20 foot tall and could flick you across the universe. My biggest issue with it is you only do 1 giant lair. You only do 1. Now here's the thing. I do think fighting through 6 giant lairs would be boring. But you only do 1. I get it, as a DM, you're very likely to replay adventures, possibly. Obviously, I've played Rime of the Frost Maiden 3 different times. I've got a guide on that. I've played Dungeon of the Mad Mage twice. I've played a good chunk of things a few times. But still, for Storm King's Thunder, you will have to play it at least 5 times to have experienced every single giant lair. And yes, it does say later in the chapter that players could go after them for extra levels, but, like, who's gonna think about that? Because the next chapter, the Hold of the Storm Giants, does send you after, and that's a good chapter, but it sends you after King Hecaton, and from there you either go save him, or you go to beat up the evil dragon who's disguised himself as a cloud giant. That's a spoiler, but you know what? If you clicked on a video about how bad Storm King's Thunder is and didn't expect a spoiler, that's your fault. It's like me. I can't even see him anymore. Oh, it's horrible. Okay. Anyway. I actually am pretty fine after the giant lairs. The only big problem is that the villain, Imarith, tends to be able to take a lot of damage because she is an ancient dragon. But they do give you storm giants to help fighting. But that just feels boring. Because you're a player, right? You're maybe level 12. And you want to fight this giant dragon. But who's taking all the damage? It's these random storm giants who you don't care about. That's just a small thing. I don't think it ruins the game or anything, but it is still something to keep in mind. But I mean, overall, if I would have to sit down and give Storm King's Thunder a rating, it would have to be probably like a 6 out of 10. Isn't bad. If you plan on running it, there's this channel similar to mine that makes guides on it. I want to say like Alex the Wizard, something like that. Anyway, they are linked in the description below, so you can go check them out. Well, anyway, if you want to stay for an update, feel free. But anyway, 52 of you now. I've been gone for a while, and that's because I've been working on improving this channel through guides, written versions of my videos. They're nicely done PDFs that you will be able to get. My next video will involve them. For Patreon that I'm currently setting up, it's basic. It is $2 a month, and you get all the PDFs plus voting on videos. Obviously, I know I have 50 people, so this is essentially just a cheap way to get my guides if you're interested. And if you're not, I don't blame you. But I want to test it out, see how that goes. If you're interested, if you want to let me know now, that would be nice. Just so I have a slight idea. Obviously, if a lot of people are interested, I may expand it, may not. But biggest takeaway, there's 50 of you. My goal is to get 50 in my first year of making videos. I managed that. I am beyond ecstatic to see so many people come into my small channel. This was essentially just something I decided to do to pass the time during the summer. Bit of a pipe dream to get it any big, but 52 of you at the time of writing this. It's amazing, honestly. Well, anyway. Thank you for watching this long for some reason. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully I will see you next time.